My goodness, I am so excited to be here today with my friend, my colleague, my elephant sister, Dr. Kimberly Olson. This woman is someone you need to know for so many reasons and so much of life. She embodies and encompasses a brilliant energy around living the life that you've always dreamed about living. And I'm so excited for you to get to know her over this period of time. So thank you, Kimberly, for doing this with me. I'm excited to have you here, and I'm really excited for all of the participants in Future Her to get to know you.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me. And you're just someone I've always admired and looked up to. Of course, you don't know that because I was, stalking you years ago, but it's such an honor to, co-create with you because you are doing beautiful work in this world. So thank you for having me.
Oh my gosh, such a pleasure. And you and I have so many connections that have nothing to do with this online world. And that is a beautiful thing. We're connected over elephants and whales and things. Always so fun. But I think today what we're really talking about, I've asked you to be an accelerator speaker in our conference, and everybody knows that the accelerator is about the one that gets shit done and makes money. And you are the queen of getting shit done and making money. Like, talk about looking up to someone. I watch you and I'm like, I want to be like her someday. So it's such a beautiful thing. I'd love for you to talk about what this means to you. Why do people have such a hard time doing it? And how did you break through? I'd love for us to kind of dig into some of that.
Oh, sure. Yeah. And I think that people want to, they watch this and they're inspired to go make a change and do something. And I look back and I went through a lot of self-sabotage, limiting beliefs. I had a lot of trauma and different things from childhood, like a lot, can relate to that. Carried that into adulthood and struggled with alcohol abuse for over a decade. I mean, I was a functioning alcoholic. Nobody knew, I always had a glass of wine in my hand, but it was just socially accepted. When I got into motherhood, it was like the big joke, right? Like as soon as you get home, you see the little gifts and stuff with the mom drinking the big thing of wine. And nothing against that, but that was my downfall. And so one day I noticed that I had another opportunity to break free of my 9-to-5, living paycheck to paycheck. We had our daughters a year and a half apart, and now you're spending multiple 5 figures a year in daycare and all these things, and I was not ready for motherhood, and I was let go from my job unexpectedly. So we were literally living paycheck to paycheck and had racked up like 6 figures in debt. And I had an opportunity to break that cycle, to get out of that. So there was an income opportunity online, and I could see it. I had the gift of vision. I could see it, and I started self-sabotaging again. And I just had this.
What self-sabotage looks like? Because I think some people, even when you're making 100K a month, people self-sabotage. So what does that look like?
Absolutely. Yeah, they'll start overspending. You're making the money and they'll start overspending. And they're actually so afraid of losing the money that they overspend and they start losing the money, right? And they start panicking and they go in this whole cycle. So people sometimes self-sabotage success. We're really close to a breakthrough and they'll push it away. So for me, it was actually, I'd done online marketing and all of that, but it was network marketing. And I had a lot of resistance around it. But when I saw like, oh my gosh, I could do this the right way, on social, I had $1,000 paycheck and then another 1,000. And then it was $200. And I was like, because I stopped working it and I was just self-sabotaging. I was literally like just giving up on it. I wasn't working it, right? Which we'll talk about during your day. And I sat there and, just hung over one morning and I was like, I am done with this. I'm done feeling like a piece of shit. I'm done waking up feeling like I suck as a mom, not really coherently remembering the night before clearly, but also throwing away this ability to get my family out of debt and break the cycle. So I knew, and this is important, I was able to identify that the alcohol addiction was holding me back. And so I enlisted professional support, overcame it. And I'm coming up on 6 years of being sober. And so I call it celebrating sobriety because the work I did, this is my life. And, I'll never go back to that. But that needed to happen for me to be able to break through. And that was the turning point for me.
It's amazing. The universe does give us these weird gifts. I remember almost 20 years ago, I had my entire neck rebuilt. And it was as if the universe knew I was here to do certain work in the world but I wasn't quite hearing the message right. So it's like, all right, if you're still not paying attention, we're just going to take you to your knees. And I think that those crucible moments are the ones that change us. And I don't think
Yes.
you have to have a really big break to have the transformation, but it's like, sometimes it's a necessity when you actually have the break and you have to work through it. So one of the things that you're brilliant at is running your day with a millionaire mindset.
Thanks.
It's brilliant. And I want us to all understand this from you, because I think that most people think they're doing the right things, or they think they're working hard, or they hear online, if it doesn't feel in alignment, don't do it. And I'm like,
Still gotta do stuff.
doing the dishes isn't feeling alignment to
Yeah.
me, but sometimes I just have to do them. Right. So that's what we
Yes.
call get shit done and make money. It's bringing the masculine energetics and the structure and the strategy to how you run your day. And I'd love for you to share that with us.
Yes, and that's so well said. There are things that we have to do every day that we don't want to do. But when you know what they're for, for me, we keep our house tidy, because for us, it feels nice to be in our home where there's not crap everywhere. So it can be something small like that. But when I think about, running your day like a millionaire, my second full year, I did over $1 million. The year before, I did like $250,000. But the reason why is the year before
Second
I
year
had,
in business.
yeah, yeah. I was quantum leaping very fast, and I still am in different ways. But when I look back, I was spending so much time doing guided visualizations, writing in my journal, affirmations, that I was a millionaire. I had a shirt that said millionaire in training. Like, I would wear that t-shirt, and I spent so much time envisioning what that would look like, who I would be. And I would be somebody who was on Zooms. I would be someone who was asked to be interviewed. I would be someone that would be having, posture. I also would be someone that guarded her time and knew it was valuable. Because when you're building a business, you'll take anything. You're like, you want to do a call at 9 o'clock at night? Sure, right? You're driving to pick up your kids, you'll take a phone call. And so early on, I would not do that. I refused to get on the phone. I refused to answer calls. My accountant at the bank, he just called right before this, and I said to my husband, "Why do people always want to call me?" I emailed him the information. Like, I don't have time to get on a call with you. Meaning, I choose not to. I would rather be with you and have this amazing conversation. So what I would recommend doing is seeing yourself as valuable, and that your time is extremely important. It's extremely valuable. I don't know who, but I heard about this like billionaire that he has his meetings down to less than 5 minutes from his key staff. Like, they'll come in, you've got 5 minutes, okay? Because they've already emailed him to prep for the call. What are their specific questions? You got 5 minutes. Next. I mean, come on now, like, that's what I want, right? So you really have to see your time as valuable, which means you need to see yourself as valuable, and you need to be feeling the worthiness that you have. That's what it comes down to.
So how do we start? Like, how do you get there? Like, I look at you and I think, God, she's beautiful. I saw the picture of you the other day on socials in your bikini, and I was like, you go, girl. And it's always beautiful. The background behind you, your home is gorgeous, the family, the whole thing. You have this gorgeous feminine energy that comes through. And then I hear you talking about how you manage your day and what it takes to do that. Where do we start? Because that's a beautiful balance of masculine and feminine energy, right? Is having both ways.
Yeah. Yeah, kind of like you said with the dishes. I mean, there is some masculine to your day. There's also, you do shift into, getting shit done, like you said. So that does come with that masculine, where I'm hyper focused. I'm very specific about what I'm doing. And I also leave so much room for creativity and to play and be with my family and get a massage and go to yoga. So, making sure you're not just working all the time. We all know that doesn't work, guys. Like, you got to hustle. You hosting this amazing conference. I know the work that goes into something like this. There are times when we go all in and we work crazy hours, right? You're working on a project, or your kid goes sick and you're up late every night. Like, there are seasons for that. And we get to choose what our schedule looks like. I don't work even 40 hours a week. And I run, several companies, and How? Because of the way that I run it. So what I recommend doing is applying the 80-20 rule that we've all heard of, where 80% of your time when you're working, 80% of your time is focused on your money-making activities or where you're making impact. So that might be, us having this conversation is impact. Money-making activity might be where I'm following up with my potential clients. I'm putting social media content out because I know that's how I attract new leads to me, or I build up my brand presence through going live. So we can identify our money-making activities by making a list of what are all the things we do in our business to make money, right? That's a money-making activity. What I find though is people are the opposite. They're following the 80-20 rule. 80% of their time is scrolling on social, looking on TikTok for audio trends for 5 hours because they can't find one that they like, right? Or they're justifying the things that they're doing that aren't actually profit producing, right? Or making an impact. So you really gotta be thinking about the things that you're doing. Should it be on your calendar or could you delegate it? Or why are you even doing that still? Like there's got to be things you're doing that you've been doing for 2 years. It doesn't serve you anymore. You've evolved. You can let some of that stuff go or definitely delegate it and build out a team.
So I'm curious, what does your calendar look like?
Yeah. So I actually work with a coach. She does somatic. Her name's Carrie Ford. So we've worked down to 15, no more than 15 appointments a week. Where before that it was more because like my Q1 was I had launched some certifications and it was just roll up your sleeves. But my schedule is 15 hours a week, of being on camera and meetings, going live, anything like that. I take at least one day off a week, usually half day, during the week. And it is tight. It's like 11 to 3 and it's back to back. And I've learned also I don't need to go as long as I used to for meetings with my team, things like that, or I don't need to meet every single week. So yeah, it's 15 hours is a good sweet spot for me where I still have time to create. There's a lot of the things I do are when I'm not on camera, right? So I'm creating something, mapping something out, or maybe I'm recording videos for, the back office for a program or something. So there's a lot of time where I don't want to be on camera, doing a live or a Zoom.
So interesting. So one of the things I talk about a lot with my clients is the idea of working in your business versus working on your business.
Oh, so good.
Right. So it sounds like you're working 15 hours a week in your business, on camera, coaching, doing lives, things like that. And then the rest of your working hours that you choose to work are the things that you're doing that are on your business. Like, how do I grow? What should I offer next? How do I strategize my next moves? And so I'm curious if you were to think about some people who are starting out, some people who are kind of at that middle range, and then some people who are crushing it but want to go to the next place. So let's say starting out 20K, wanting to get to 50K a month, and then the people who are at 100K who want to go higher. I would love for us to kind of walk through what are the different strategies that people might need to take at these different levels to not only manage themselves and know how to show up and know how to build that I'm a millionaire mindset. And then at the different levels, how would that go? How does that feel?
Yeah, for sure. So, when I made that jump, the 20K months, I was creating a lot of things and launching all the time where they were shorter stints, 6-week boot camps, 8-week boot camps, maybe a 12-week. And so you're constantly re-enrolling, you're constantly looking for new people. So I would go into a one-to-many model if possible, or like for my private clients, it's almost a 6-figure investment. So if you are going to do one-to-one work that you're charging like triple of your normal group coaching programs, if you're doing group coaching, or if you're doing consulting, okay, that you have a premium price for the consulting you're doing, because again, you're only taking on that one, you're the one doing it, right? Unless you have support. So when I went from 20K to 100K, 100K months, I was launching 6-month programs and eventually 12 months. I have 3 group coaching programs that are a year long. And then we have a membership club. So the membership club does like 6 figures by itself. So I started looking at my reoccurring revenue and I just mapped it out and I was like, ooh, it's dropping off pretty quick. No wonder I'm constantly launching. So instead of, doing that, just look and see, are you constantly launching? And if you are, how could you space things out more? to give you more energy, to be able to really build up your social, to get people excited about it. Or maybe you do some, things like this, that you're doing something special out on social. The other thing is asking yourself, do you need to be the one to do it? And can you create programs where maybe other people are running the programs? So we have one of our programs, it's like $1 million, every year it's at least $1 million container. And I'm in there once a month for an hour. So it's not to be lazy, it's to say, how can I build up others? How can I teach them to pass along what I'm doing? And then it allows me to spend more time in our higher level programs. And then obviously people want to, get closer to the fire. So they want to ascend. And we have an amazing ascension program. People come in and they might spend $147 a month on our membership club, and they can work there all the way up to spending, $40,000 a year. So we help them move up. There's always that next thing. I think a lot of people miss that. And then after people are done with the 12-month program, they're going on to something else. So I think you can keep people, in your containers longer if you really just kind of plan things out.
I love that. I love the layer cake. So I build a layer cake, and it's an ascension model. So people will sell themselves into your next offer. And it's a beautiful thing to do. Now, for someone who's in that middle range, that's amazing. But to get to that middle range, and some people who are here are going to be just at that beginning, what is the mindset work you need to do to be able to get yourself over it? I know too many people, and I love them all. They're great humans who say, I want a business so badly, and they never do it. Right?
Mm-hmm.
So where do we have to start to help them along the way? And then we'll talk about the high ticket people after this.
Yeah. So when you're newer and you're getting it going, it is knocking on doors. I've been in sales since I was in high school, and I sold cutlery knives to pay for college. I went to a private, undergrad, and I had to pay for it myself, and I sold knives. That's how I did it. So,
I love those
sales.
knives.
I know, I still have them. They're the best. And it taught me to go into people's homes of referrals, but go into people's homes that I didn't know them, and quickly have to build rapport, ask for a sale, right? Build value, ask for a sale. That is what it is saying, I have something and I'd like to invite you. But what we want to do is, when we have that offer that we want to put out there, we don't just put it out there. What we want to do is think about, how can we reach out to people to say, hey, I'd love to get to know you better and find out what's going on in your world and see how I can support you. So if you have a new Facebook group, you better believe you're booking coffee chats with every single person in there. When you're new, you are knocking on doors, you are hustling, meaning hustle means you're willing to roll up your sleeves and really take the time to get to know people. This is all you need, you guys. You need 100 core followers, okay? Not TikTok followers that watch your stuff, but 100 people who are bought into what you are all about. And the only way for you to create value and content that they want is to talk to them and say, what's it like for you? Just think of the things that you are passionate about sharing. And you're like, oh my gosh, I just want to help people feel amazing. I want them to feel confident, right? I hear this all the time. I want people to know they can do anything, because that person's going through that. And I'll say, okay, let's talk tangible on that. What do you mean by that? What is their struggle? Oh, well, they have toxic relationships. Okay, let's teach them how to move past that, how to heal that, how to walk away. So if you can really just get to know your people, and it could just be your friends list on Facebook to start with, and obviously adding new people that makes sense for you to be in alignment with, start a Facebook group. That's the way I started. And I would just, go in there and teach them things, but I would ask them, what are you struggling with? What do you need help with? And that's actually how my brand came to be, because everybody is like, I set goals. And it's not setting the goals, it's actually achieving the goals. As you know, that's how you started this. Like, how do you actually do it? Get to know your people. The thing that's missing for those that want to get to those 10K, 20K, 30K months is that they don't have the audience built yet. And they're watching others going, well, I guess I'm just not popular enough on Instagram. I don't have enough followers. No, you literally handpick, you reach out, you build relationships with, and before you know it, those 100 loyal followers are your super fans. And they're going to refer you, they're going to tag you. It's going to blow up after that.
Amen. And I love this so much, because there's a whole corner of the internet that says reaching out to people in the DMs is poison. Don't ever do it. And here's the thing. I mean, I've been a coach and consultant for 35 years, and 99% of my stuff has come in through referral. Like, I came online almost 3 years ago. Like, it's a sliver of what I do. And
Right.
like you, I have multiple businesses that are going on all the time. And I think what people forget is that we're in the business of humans.
Mhm.
And whether you're
Yes.
selling a product, a service, or yourself, we're in the business of human relationships. And if you're
Mhm.
not willing to get human with people, AKA Dare Human, the name of my company, if you're not willing to get human with people, you don't get where you want to go.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, I mean, what I'm hearing is like when you're at that base level, you got to learn to build relationships and show up and do the
Mhm.
thing you want to do. When you're in that middle level, from what I understand from you, it's about really planning out your strategy and your offers and making sure your energy is well managed. What's it like for
Yes.
people who are at 100K and want to go higher?
Yeah, for that leap, so I did, 1.1 million, and then I went to 2.7 million the year after. But I look at it, and I helped study the year after, and I was really happy with that because I was like, okay, how can we get more profitable here? Because when you have massive growth, your expense at first it's like cash everywhere. The next year it's like expenses everywhere. So much learning, guys. Like, I'm so glad you guys are here because man, if someone would have just said, this is going to be a rocky ride, and that's beautiful.
Mm.
This is not for everyone. Okay. We get to be entrepreneurs. We get to create. We get to make a difference in this world. We've been called to do big work. Okay. So I wish someone would have said, it's going to be a little bumpy, girlfriend. Okay. There's nothing wrong with you. It's part of it. So when I made that leap from 1.1 to 2.7, what I did is I looked at everything. I did roll out a new Ascension program. So that obviously added like another million. But what I did is I
Stop.
said,
Stop. She just says, oh, I just built to something and oh, that was another million. Let's break that down because that's not just
oh
something
my
everybody
gosh.
can say.
Yeah. Well, I saw that everyone that was in my flagship program, they were finishing it and, some would stay on, but they were saying, you want more? Like, what's the next thing? And I'm like, I don't know. And I thought, oh, I just need to be ahead of them. I'm not, I don't need to teach them to go be multimillionaires. I just need to teach them the next step. So I ended up rolling out the next program. And what was interesting is I wasn't known for that at all. So my whole thing online was network marketing, affiliate, online marketing. And I noticed that these ladies, that was like the gateway drug, meaning they'd come online to, with network marketing, but they wanted more. They
Uh-huh.
wanted to coach and be consultants and have courses and age. And I was like, oh, I know how to do that. So I launched a program that wasn't anything I was known for. And I just, networked, worked within the students I had. And then I started online, just building that layer out and letting people know this is what I know and this is what I can teach. And it ended up added a million to it.
Oh my
Yeah, I
God.
know.
Please keep going. That's just an
Oh, but
unbelievable.
I mean, I'm so glad that I did that because if you think, well, that's not me. I don't do that. People don't know me for that. Who freaking cares? Just do it. And then you're going to fill it up and you're going to get better and better, right? And let people know what you have. But what I did is I looked at everything and I was doing a lot still. I had a really light staff when we did that million. It was like, seriously, like one full-time VA who's more of a project manager, kind of, kept everything organized. And then I had a part-time marketing person and I think like one other part-timer. Like there wasn't, I don't even know. Like I look back, I'm like, how did I even do that? But you just figure it out. And so I said to myself, okay, I'm tapped out. And I'm spending time on things that doesn't fill me up. What I need to do is spend time with people and I need to spend time creating. That's
Mhm.
it. What God wants me to do. He wants me to talk to people, coach them, inspire them, right? And create. What are we doing next? Because I'm the visionary for our company, always thinking what's next. I pay attention to the market. I pay attention to my audience. I pay attention to gaps and flows and social media changes every 5 seconds. So that's what I get to do is be the creative. So to make the jump, it was the people. I built out an entire team, which was very tumultuous. And since then I've probably replaced 80% of them. But in that process, I have my dream team now and we run a tight ship. Okay. So you got to go through all that though. What is it? Hire hire slowly, fire quickly, I think it is. Nobody wants to do that. We have big hearts. We don't want to do that. But you got to learn how to do it, to figure out what positions do you need. You got to get the right people that are bought into the culture and make sure they're the right fit for those positions. So that's what I did. I spent a whole year building out my infrastructure and then ripping it all down and rebuilding it back up. And that's where we are today.
Oh my goodness. Now, I mean, we could go double click on a lot of different places here, because there's this easy breezy way that you talk about your business, which is beautiful, but I know there's a lot of strategy, and I know that there's a lot going on behind the scenes. When we think about running your business with a millionaire mindset, when you already believe that you are a millionaire, one of the things that I watch you do, and I was actually talking about you in my Elevate Her Mastermind the other day, because I was like, go watch Kimberly Olson, the gold digger girl. Her marketing is so on point and feels so simple.
Mhm.
I would love for you to give people insight into how that gorgeous marketing and sales brain of yours works, because that is the thing that I think people struggle with the most. I've got something great to deliver. I know that I can help people change their lives. I know that I can help them, make the world better for their family and for the rest of the world. I just don't know what to say. I have people say this to me all the time. I'm in my box, Suzanne, I have this thing, I just don't know what to talk about. What would you tell them?
Yeah, if you're going to be online and even think about having a boutique on Main Street, marketing is everything, because it's that first impression, and like you built your business on mostly referrals. The person in your Voxer hasn't gotten there yet, and so if you're newer, you're like, I haven't built up anything to refer here yet. It is the marketing. It is your first impression. People do judge a book by its cover online. And so we have energetics in play, which is a big part of it, is asking yourself, doing a self audit. Pretend I'm an audit you, okay? Okay, well, we can really think, and it's not to beat yourself up. Don't compare my chapter 20 to your chapter 1. Like, I've been doing this for years, and this is my expertise. But I would love for you to do a self audit. And I would pop on your just main 2 platforms, maybe just one, and ask yourself, if I was coming in to audit it and give you feedback, what would I say? Because you probably already have some clues already, but you just haven't put that lens on. But when someone comes to check you out, posture is really important. And what I mean by that is, I'm at the point now where I'm top of my network marketing company. I have, international global coaching businesses. I thrive on leveling up the profession, the industry. And I'm asking people to spend 10, 20, 30, 40,000, sometimes, almost $100,000 a year to work with me. Okay. Or join my network marketing team, right? If they come to my social media, I want them to go, her, she's a boss. I want to work with her. I want to learn from her. I want to mentor under her, or I want to hire her to be my coach, because I want that. They don't want to be me, but they want to be like me, meaning they want to have that posture and confidence. So much of it is the visual of it. So if that doesn't come naturally, hire somebody. It is worth it. I spent $15,000 having our website redone last summer, and it's gorgeous. I love it. That's not my jam, right? So hire someone, but the energetics show up, make sure it's you. And what's really fun about this, and this is the theme of your conference, future her. Who is the future you? Put that in your branding. Put that in your branding, and you become her, because you have to show up and you have to match it up, right? So if your thing says, international global speaker, then you're going to show up and you're going to be speaking. You're going to get yourself on summits, podcast interviews. You're going to go live on your wall. You will step up to the plate, but it's that kind of, as far as what to talk about, be yourself. There's a novel concept. Just be yourself. Why are you afraid to show up? Why are you not afraid? Why are you afraid to share your story? The alcohol and all of that. I talk about it all the time, because it's the struggle that I had to overcome to be successful. I don't want you just to see somebody who has money and a cute family. Like, what did I go through? Right? Where's the grit and the perseverance and the tenacity? That's what I'm interested in. And so is your followers and your audience.
So true. And I think so many people are afraid that their actual authentic story is going to scare people away. And it's what we're missing here is that it's your authentic story that's going to say, oh, she will get me.
Mhm.
She'll understand what I've been through. She's been there. If she can live through that, I can live through that too. But what I
Yes.
see is that a lot of people bring their wounding to the table
Ooh.
and they live from their wounding.
Yep. Mhm.
And they haven't done a healing work of their wounding. And so it's hard to find the motivation. It's hard to find the voice. It's hard to find the authentic grit that it takes. So what I suggest is we heal that wounding. And part of what you talk about is as you're healing the wounding, don't say, hey, I'm an average person.
Right.
You're healing the wounding and saying, hey, by the way, I'm epic. I'm
Yes.
amazing. I'm a millionaire. I'm all these things. And because we know that when you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. So what if you
Love
start to see the world through victor glasses, not victim glasses?
Mhm. Yes.
And I see
Yes.
that all over your brand. I really do. Everywhere I look is like authentic truth, motivational concepts, questions that ask, like, hey, by the way, are you looking at it this way? Like there's a really great cadence to how you do what you do. I think
Thank
the
you.
thing that I'm really curious about, and I think other people will be too, is how do you run so many businesses at the same time? And is that required to be as wealthy as you desire to be?
So I'd love to know your thoughts on this too. So this has been coming up for me, and it's funny, as soon as it comes up, that's of course who comes to you and you get attract, you know what I mean? It's the law of attraction. But I've really been contemplating how I can make money. Obviously, I know how to make money. That's, we got to figure that out first. But when you get to that point, also being mindful of getting your money to work for you. So whether it's investing and not, just retirements and things where we were raised to think, but how can you leverage your money and get it working for you as well? Because then we can create some residuals. We can create, just because I think there is this constant, oh, I got to launch again. I got to launch again. Right. And so if you can get your money working for you over here and continue to bring in revenue, eventually you'll have a point where there's a tipping point and your residual has grown so much that you just work or you don't work. Let's be honest, I'm going to be 100 years old still working because I love it. But I get to work, I get to do that. So I actually definitely feel as though, as business women, that we get to be educated about money. We get to understand finances. We get to understand taxes and budgeting and what percentage of your business should be overhead. Should you be spending money on advertising? Like all that stuff that I find it in my community, they kind of go, oh, when we start talking about math. They're also like, okay, like I'm getting out my pen and paper because I want to learn this. It just is overwhelming and intimidating. So, build your team of experts. It could be your CPA, your bookkeeper. I have a finances manager, and we're so close because she cares so much about our numbers, and she'll be like, hey, and like, if you're not having that conversation, you're one month, you're like, oh my gosh, all my students or my clients just finished up, and now I've got a big drop in recurring revenue. We don't want you to set up a business that isn't sustainable. So for me, it is, yeah, I ask a lot of questions because I have a business background, but I didn't learn about acquiring companies, and I didn't learn about all this stuff. So, I'm reading, I'm podcasting. I read a book every single week, 1.5 speed on Audible, but every single
Oh
week.
my God, that's
Yeah,
amazing.
it's Audible though, but
Yeah.
every single
It's
week.
the same.
Yeah, every week, because I'm like, okay, you don't understand that. Let me go learn that. So thinking that we have this opportunity to really be CEOs and, of our lives and our businesses and boss it up a little bit. But when you do that, you're not afraid anymore. You're not afraid or scared of your future. You understand it. And then there's a little bit more predictability, and you can have some fun with it when you get to the point where you're reinvesting your money into things. I mean, it's like a whole new world.
Yeah. I think you touched on something really important here, which is fear. And fear can be your greatest paralyzer, or it can be your greatest catalyzer. And what would happen if we all decided that when we're afraid, we dove in? So if you don't understand finances, you dive into them. If you've never done a spreadsheet for your company and how you're seeing your predicted budget, what's called a pro forma of what you can possibly do this year, look up, Google, go to YouTube, find it out, take a class with me, take a class with Kimberly. We teach these things. So there's no like just inspirational language around the work that we do. It is, let's get some brass tacks down here.
Yeah.
Let's figure out how to do it. Let's work on the business and in the business. Let's just not focus on sales. Let's deliver inside. And I think that that's what happens when you're growing entrepreneurs and helping them become their next level, is you're actually in their hands dirty, showing them what to do. Pull out the pen and paper. Let's workshop it together so people learn. And I think that's extraordinary. Yeah. So if you were a person listening to this right now, who's like, this is too much for me. I don't think I can do this. I feel like I don't have that much time. I've got kids. I've got maybe a muggle job that I'm dealing with right now until I can leave. Or someone who's in a different scenario, they're dealing with a health issue. What are the first couple steps to bringing that millionaire mindset on board, to allowing yourself to really understand what's possible for you as an individual?
Well, whenever we feel overwhelmed, my team and everyone jokes around because they're like, I feel like they're trying to find another word. I'm like, it's okay. You can say overwhelmed, because I have a little bit of a love-hate relationship with that word, because I believe when we say we're overwhelmed, we're literally putting our hands up and we're letting ourselves off the hook. It's like, I'm overwhelmed, I can't handle it. So I do feel like that's a form of self-sabotage. We all get overwhelmed. That's normal. I mean, look at our society and the pace we move at. And I would also challenge you to ask yourself, how you're living right now, is that fulfilling your purpose? Like, are you living out God's purpose for you, or whatever your beliefs are? But are you fulfilled? Do you feel like you're, serving, living out your passion? And if not, you potentially will feel a disconnect. Your subconscious mind and your conscious mind, they don't match up. You could get frustrated, feel disappointed, anxious. There's all these things that can come into play where honestly, it's just, you're not in alignment with what you really want. So the really amazing thing about social media and building a business and all the things is that you can build it in the nooks and crannies of your day. You don't have to have 15 hours on the books like I do every week. I do this full time now. When I first started, I was working a full-time job. It was more than 40 hours a week. I worked Wednesday nights and Monday nights and Saturdays. It was the whole thing. Anyways, I was commuting 2.5 hours a day. And my babies were 1 and 2.5, and my husband traveled. Okay. So why it worked is because if I had 15 minutes, because I worked at a health club, I was a membership director in wellness. So people would walk in and, you never knew what your schedule was, but if I had 15 minutes, this is key, you guys. I had this, I call it the daily activity tracker. I'd pull out my daily activity tracker and I would just, okay, what's next? Oh, okay. And it was literally every day, just checking boxes. At night, I discipline myself to do away with TV, do away with any, social stuff. I just put my head down. It took 18 months, put my head down, where I just kind of did away with everything. I just focused on myself, my personal development, my business. And this is what I would say to you. Come up with 3 non-negotiables. Okay. Decide what those are. For you, it might be, maybe you are building on social and you like the social media aspect that we're talking about. It's going to be that you post every single day. You find 10 friends to friend requests that fit your ideal avatar, somebody you want to work with. And then you sweep through Messenger and you make some connections. Doesn't that feel doable? Didn't everybody watching this just go,
I did.
right?
And I'm
Yeah,
also like,
I felt it too.
I want your daily activity tracker. I'm like, what's
Yeah.
that? That sounds cool.
Yeah, I can send it to you. That's easy. It's just, you have it in 3 different formats, of course, but yeah, it's just, you just literally, what are the things that you need to do on social media to grow your business? And then let's just say you have a day off, or you get out of work early, or your house is actually quiet for an hour. It's the discipline to pull out your activity tracker and knock out some stuff. What happens a lot of times, people go, I should probably, do some more laundry. Like, we look things that are not moving us forward. You got to have your vision set. My why, I was so driven by my why to change my family story. I knew if I could change my family, I could help other women change their families. Like, I knew it in my DNA. So do you have that why, that vision, that just pull to do this. And if you do, when you've got that hour or 30 minutes, you're going to be working on your business. And before you know it, you can get rid of the 9 to 5 or hire help so that way you can spend more time on this.
I love it. And so many people are allergic to the word discipline. Let's just be honest. I love the word discipline. I also love the word devotion. I think both of them are really important because if you're devoted to your work and you're disciplined about it, boom, you're going to get everything done you need to get done.
Yes.
And having the energy that I love what I'm doing always helps. I think you tapped on something that's so related to this conference, and I'd love us to go here. And then I have one more question before we close, which is we're here imagining a future where there's money in women's wallets. And women are voting for the things that are going to make this world better for humans, right? Right now, our systems and our structures tend to be set up for a certain group of people, and they get advantaged by so much of it. And if you've been in the entrepreneurial space and never worked in corporate America, I just want to tell you how lucky you are.
Yes.
It's been a journey being surrounded by men all the time and being the only woman in the room. I would love for you to just imagine for a minute, what does the future look like when women are empowered in the way that you learned you could do for your family, and you learned you can help other women do it for their families? What does this future her look like?
Well, I think we could both agree, and those watching, that we all know that women have such innate power in a good way. We have such beautiful gifts. We bring so much beauty and grace and love and nurturing care. I mean, all these attributes of the feminine. And we all know that that has been missing and it's been suppressed. You know, my mom, she, in her lifetime, because I was born right after, I mean, women, she couldn't even have a bank account. She couldn't have a credit card with that. I mean, that wasn't that long ago. And even I just heard a woman say, I was doing something else, and she was saying how she couldn't preach on stage or whatnot. It's only men in this, church that she was at. And I sat there thinking, what? Am I like missing something here? So what I see is that women fully step into their power in a good way. It's not power, what we think of power struggle or male dominated, but step into their feminine power. And what will happen in this world is that it will be balanced. The ship will be righted. Those that need to be cared for will be cared for. There are so many people in this world, and by the way, right in your backyard, in your community, that are hurting, that are in need. And we have that just natural big hearts that we want to do something with that. Imagine all the wealth in this world. Do you think we could end poverty? Do you think we could make sure everybody has clean drinking water? Yes, do the math on it.
Yeah.
So when we can be part of the conversation and leading the conversation and be the decision makers, where, like you said, with your wallets, what's the most powerful thing we have to make big changes is money. Okay. It's energy. It's an exchange of energy. So wouldn't you rather be more vocal and showing up to be able to make those positive decisions and changes? That's what we need. That's what this world needs. I mean, we literally, I have chills, in our lifetime, Suzanne, in our lifetimes, we can literally transform this entire planet. I believe it.
I'm a full believer in that. And I think anybody who's part of this conversation knows that I believe in people, planet, and then profit. And the reason is because the money is a result of the good works that you're doing. It is an energetic exchange. And I think we often think of money as separate. Money allows me to wear fancy brands, or money allows me to do this. And we get to change who we are and what we buy and what we purchase for our kids and where it's made and whether it's forced labor or whether it's hurting the environment. We can educate ourselves. And as we grow our potency, our personal power, and our wealth, we can start making different decisions and start creating this world that you're talking about. And that's what Future Her is all about, is like, what if we start reimagining a parallel universe to the one we're living in? You are a woman who runs a company, and my guess is that you take really good care of the people who work for you because you value them as humans. And that is very different than what we see in traditional business out there. And I love that. What I think is really cool about what you do, sorry, do you want to say something?
No, I just said thank you. I appreciate you.
I know that you've recently added a whole nother business line to your business. I would love for you to share what it is and why you decided to do it. And then, of course, part of this is that you're welcome to share about how to work with you if you want to, as part of what we're doing and as our closing.
So I started a nonprofit called Elephant Sisters, and this was even before Susan and I knew that we shared an affinity for elephants. So someone had shared, this is the power of social media, someone had shared this girl's blog post about sisterhood, and her whole story was the story of female elephants specifically. What's so powerful about female elephants is that they really support each other, they band together. And so, for example, if a female elephant is giving birth, they all, like, it's a fortress. You cannot get to that vulnerable. She's at the most vulnerable stage of her life, and these elephants just get around her. I mean, you're not going to be messing with it, getting through. And it allows her to be vulnerable, have her baby. And when she has her baby, I have chills. They start stomping and they start celebrating and just triumph, just so loud, because they are there for her when she's down, when she's weak and she's vulnerable. And they are celebrating her and lifting her up when she is experiencing something good. And why I was so driven and called to that is coming from the network marketing space. There in the past, there's been, and it's still here, but we're working at it. Mean girl. People, if someone leaves to go to another company, they are cast aside. They are, oh, it's not awesome. I've had people leave the industry completely because of what happened to them. And I said, not on my watch. So in 2019, we started #Elephant Sisters. It was just to say, like, we will not stand for this. Not that you won't do it, but you will not stand for it if you see it happening. And then I realized, you know what? There are women in my community that have needs. A husband lost his job, can't pay their bills. And you know what happens? As soon as their family needs them, they put their business on the shelf. It's the first thing to go. They're like, oh, no, that's, and I thought, if I can help them get through those times, maybe they won't do that. And so we started our nonprofit, which is a whole thing, by the way, we got it approved. And we started our nonprofit Elephant Sisters, and you're one of our featured speakers. We do fundraisers. And what we do is our community can say, hey, we need, our electricity is getting turned off. We don't have food. So we rally around, and we know our people. So we rally around. It's so cool. And I have chills. And we've been able to help them when they're going through things just by, financially contributing, or just to tell them we love them, and we know that they're going through something. So Elephant Sisters is something we can all be a part of, whether or not you contribute, but to be able to, and you can go to elephantsisters.org, donate, and you can be a part of it, but in your own way. I just ask that as women, some women don't see that how powerful we are when we're together. And I don't know what that is, and that, let's just leave it over there, but we get to celebrate each other, support each other, lift each other up. So when you see someone winning on social media, say, you know what, I'm so happy for them, and give them a little love on their post instead of feeling jealous. Look, we can all win. There's abundance in this universe. I believe that, and we are stronger together.
That is what has connected us so deeply, because I believe that I was an elephant in a past life. There's an elephant over there.
I think I was too.
And what's beautiful about elephant communities, for those of you who don't know, it is that the female elephants all live in a pack together. And they raise the baby elephants and the teen elephants, and then the male elephants actually go off and join male elephant herds. And then when they meet up in various water holes, it's the time for them to mate. So the bunch of male elephants come, and the bunch of men come, and they have like a little party. And
yeah.
Wouldn't it be amazing for us to live in a community that you have created, Kimberly, where women are supporting women when they're down, when they're hard, that we're like locking arms and taking care of each other. It is the most beautiful thing. I love your heart. I'm so grateful that we know each other. How can people stay in touch with you so that they make sure that they can be part of your brilliance, your goal digger-ness, and your elephant sister-ness?
I love it. Thank you. Yeah, I'm on social everywhere. So whatever platforms you love the most, you can look me up, The Goal Digger Girl, and it's GOAL. And you can find me anywhere. Just send me a DM and say hello.
Love it. Thank you so much for your time. I love that you're part of this. I'm so grateful for our connection and our love of elephants.
Thank you.